What's up, YouTube? It's me, Judith. I'm back with another episode for you guys. I had a lovely weekend. I hope everybody else did too. I noticed that the president got COVID and recovered very quickly, so that's a relief. Weird that a bunch of other Republicans started getting COVID around the same time. I'm sure there's nothing going on there. I'm here to bring you another handful of some interesting topics. They're gonna go by pretty quick because this is gonna be a short show. If anything interests you and you want to know more, I strongly suggest you go after it yourself. It's good to do your research. Be careful using Google. They're very biased. Might I suggest DuckDuckGo or Ecosia.org. Try some other search engines. Maybe try multiples. It's good to compare and contrast data, for sure. There's a whole lot to know about everything. I could probably make an episode about every single thing I mention here. Don't forget to do your own research and use discernment. So what I wanted to talk about this episode was World War II. We're raised to believe that it's come and gone. It was us versus the Nazis and we won, right? No. No, I don't think that we did. I think that what happened was the Nazis changed their tactics instead to infiltration instead of invasion. Instead of just blatantly bombing and taking over, they actually infiltrated the United States and began controlling us from within. This all started right around 1945-ish with Project Overcast, which led directly into Paperclip. Project Overcast was basically the Nazis' way of getting around the rule that Nazis weren't allowed in. It said, don't worry, if any of these guys turn out to be war criminals or bad guys, we'll send them right back for trial. We're gonna keep an eye on them. Don't worry about it. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be fine. So it allowed them to enter and have their crimes pretty much ignored or even scrubbed. Operation Paperclip, when you look it up, says it's a secret program that was run by the Joint Intelligence Objectives Agency, largely carried out by the Army CIC to move over 1,600 German technicians, engineers, and scientists that were basically all affiliated with the Nazi SS Party and Third Reich, moving them from Germany to the United States, and pretty much forgiving all of their past, like whitewashing their past. Yeah. They took some very important jobs. They were not prisoners of war. They entered our society. The name of Project Paperclip is named Paperclip because of the practice of attaching a paperclip to dossiers of scientists who had ardent Nazi affiliation or demonstrated a sympathy or who might be considered war criminals. All these Nazis were flagged, but basically forgiven. One Nazi in particular that I like to refer to a lot is Wernher von Braun. He was a Prussian-born baron who joined the Nazi Party in 1937, rapidly ascended to a junior SS in 1940. He was a rocket scientist who was bent on going to the moon, and thanks to Project Paperclip, he got his wish. Who cares if he worked for the Third Reich? He's seen as an American hero today. He became the head of NASA. I'm not sure why people don't think that Nazis becoming heads of programs in the United States wouldn't have long-term consequences. It kind of freaks me out. It's kind of crazy, actually. Wernher von Braun went to work with people like Walt Disney and Stanley Kubrick for some reason. And after all the Nazis came into the United States, all the crazy stuff started happening. MK Ultra, mind control, Operation Mockingbird. The CIA was born right around this time, right around the time the Nazis all infiltrated. Operation Mockingbird ran for decades and involved propaganda via journalism, media, basically everything the public consumed to get their information, and even entertainment. They put propaganda in your movies and your TV shows. I'll probably do a whole other episode of how to spot this programming, because there's no way that this didn't continue now. In fact, in 2015, it seemed like it was alive and well. You can prove that Operation Mockingbird is alive and well just by looking into what our media reports now and ask yourself if it's biased If it's fact, if it gets proven later on as false, whose opinion is it reflecting? What is it telling you to think? A great example of Operation Mockingbird working really hard right now is the fact that they're trying to get the public to believe that the Proud Boys are white supremacist Nazis.
I believe black Americans made America great from the beginning. I believe black Americans make America great. So we should all MAGA. And don't fall victim to a lot of false ideologies, race pimping, and all that kind of stuff. So I joined the Proud Boys. I looked out and tried to find them for 4 months because I believed in their ideology.
He found us.
And when I found them, they treated me like a brother. All love. We're mixed between all different races, ages, and sexualities.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
And sexualities.
Yes.
We got gay members, Asian, black, Hispanic, and
Indian.
There's not one Indian. There's not one racist redneck Nazi that I've met.
Find
yet.
him and we'll kick him out.
So, and I've been called more racist redneck Nazis than ever, which is very odd.
Very sad.
Why do you think because that's all you hear about the Proud Boys in the media is that they...
Can I say something?
It's just propaganda.
I think it's...
They're just a bunch of dudes who like to hang out and drink. They do some other stuff, it seems, but they're not all white. They love their country. They just want to hang out. They just want to be dudes and drink. Another operation that happened that you might want to know about, in case you don't already, is Operation Northwoods. This was a false flag operation to justify war on Cuba. It involved the United States attacking its own citizens and blaming it on Castro to help the public agree on war. So all you'd have to do is shoot some of your people and tell them in the papers that it was from another country. That's how that works. It's messed up. Now, an important thing here is to follow the money. Find out who owns the news, the medicine. Where does the money go? And who does it keep coming back to? Because I'm betting you it keeps coming back to some of the same people. The same people who have a lot of money, power, and influence in the world. One of the people it keeps coming back to is George Soros. It's weird when you call out George Soros, people try to call you anti-Semitic. But really...
That you went out with this protector of yours who swore that you were his adopted godson.
Yes.
Went out, in fact, and helped in the confiscation of property from the Jews.
That's right. Yes.
I mean, that sounds like an experience that would send lots of people to the psychiatric couch for many, many years. Was it difficult?
Not at all.
He has openly said that he's not concerned with the consequences of his actions. He's just out to make money. Nothing to worry about. I think George Soros uses anti-Semitism as a shield. Last thing I want to touch on, obviously, is the Kennedy assassination. It happened for many, many reasons. It seems like it's pretty clear that it was internal. He seemed to be wanting to expose some secrets. Seemed to be putting his nose where it didn't belong. And we all know what happened after that. It's a very important point in history that a lot of people seem to be more or less kind of obsessed with. There is a government out there that is stronger than the president and has the power to assassinate him. You gotta think about what that means. Something happened there. There are consequences to all of these operations. This has shaped the United States into what it is today. You can't just let Nazis in and expect everything to be fine after that. I don't think so anyway. So let's go over our buzzwords to research. Paperclip and Overcast, Werner von Braun, the birth of the CIA, Operation Northwoods, Operation Mockingbird. Don't forget to do some digging on George Soros. Follow the money. And refresh yourself on the Kennedy assassination. These were all points in time that I've myself visited and discovered that there was just no way that this didn't have long-term consequences. It made me realize that the world is kind of backwards. My goal of this show is mainly to facilitate a conversation. I want to get people interested in this information enough to do some of their own research. I'll be sharing links to some of the research that I did to make these videos always in the bottom in the description. If you have something to add, don't be afraid to hit it down in the comments. There's so much information out there. I really just want to get people talking and interested in these things. We have to relearn a whole bunch of stuff because this information was withheld or hidden from us. I mean, and then they admit to withholding and hiding it from us. And of course, it's pretty obvious that Operation Mockingbird is still going. The news bias is very, very real. All you have to do is read a couple of headlines that involve the same topic, compare and contrast, check the authors, and you can kind of see it's kind of obvious that people are paid to write certain material in a specific light. Now more than ever, that's something that we have to think about and take into consideration when making our decisions and where we get our information. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to know how you can support me in this show right now, you can find out how at judithrose.co. I've got a blog, a merch shop. I take donations. Any support is welcome and appreciated. I love comments and I love shares. So thank you guys so much for being there, and I will see you soon.